Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Sherry McKinney-France from the Children's Network of Stark County, talking about Frontline to Freedom. Remind us again, date and place where we can learn all about everything you really never wanted to know about human trafficking.
Yes, Friday, April 27th. Registration begins at 8. The program begins at 8:30 sharp. We're going to be done at 4. It'll be at New Point Community Church. If you want to register, you can go to eventbrite.com and just type in Frontline to Freedom. There's a $25 fee. I can tell you, you'll never be so spoiled with $25 fee. I should have worn it today. Every year we do T-shirts that are really awesome. And then at the end of the day, Susie, everybody puts their T-shirt on and we flood social media.
Awesome.
With our message, which we always hashtag not in Stark.
Nice.
Because that's really our motto, that we don't want human trafficking to exist anywhere, but we absolutely won't tolerate it in our community.
Yeah, not in my house.
Right. So you'll get a T-shirt, you'll get a book, a human trafficking book. Not sure which book yet. We're reading several, but you'll get a book that you can take home and read and share with other people. The T-shirts, I do just want to add, are fair trade T-shirts because we think that's really important. You know, we could speak for a long time, and truthfully, I'm not an expert on labor trafficking. We have identified our first 2 we've had 3 labor trafficking victims. But just buying things like fair trade merchandise is a little thing that we can all do. And it does cost a little bit more. But there is an app, if you Google, apps that will help you identify, there are thousands of products that are made literally in slave labor. And, there are companies that, promote that. And so you can just become more aware of those issues and just shop smarter. Yes. And so we're going to do fair trade T-shirts and books and then again, all of the continuing education hours, and not to mention just a spectacular day full of people who are very passionate about this work.
And as upsetting and depressing as the topic is, this is a day of hope, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You've had a lot of really good things happen because of the awareness and because of people working together to end this. Something that's been illegal since 1865. Slavery is not legal for any purposes, and we definitely don't want to see it in our community. Tell us some of the highlights of last year, 2017. I know you did a wrap-up, and what can you share that will give us hope in this area?
Yes, well, lots of exciting things are happening at the Children's Network. Last year was our 30th anniversary, and we served, in those first 30 years, we were the first advocacy center in the state.
Wow.
And we served almost 16,000 children in our first 30 years.
16,000 children.
Yes. Stark County kids who have been victims of sexual abuse, severe physical abuse, which to us is a hospitalization, children who witness violence, and children who are victims of human trafficking.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. And you talked about the trauma that they go through. We know that we've talked to other professionals in here that have all kinds of things that trauma leads to. The brain actually changes when a child goes through trauma. Talk about that a little bit. What can be done there? How do we get it to change back? How do we get these young people into something healing?
Well, one of the things that makes us very fortunate, Susie, is that we have a mental health board and a mental health community that for years has been very trauma focused. We're as backwards sometimes as our community or our nation even may feel. I can tell you that Stark County has been a leader in this area for a really long time. So we are blessed. I have colleagues across the state that they may have one trauma-informed therapist in their whole community.
Really?
Yes. And we have hundreds.
Oh, yes. Working together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things I just really challenge people, when you're at the store, you're out for dinner, and you see somebody who's behaving badly, or you know, the kids that you want to roll your eyes and think, what's wrong with those parents? Or my kids would, you know, instead of looking at the behavior, think about, why is this child responding that way? What potentially have they experienced? And certainly I'm not excusing bad behavior, but children react to things because of experience frequently. And so I think for us to really take a step back and maybe not be so judgmental.
Oh, that's always good advice.
Right. And and you know, when I see parents in those situations, I always just try to say a word of encouragement, like, you got this. You can do this. You know, this won't last forever. It'll be okay. You're doing a good job. And so I think, first of all, just to be aware. And I think to really, kind of the new phrase is mindfulness, to practice mindfulness and to breathe. You know, we have a chime at the Children's Network, and we meet as a team, about 35 of us, every Tuesday at noon, and we staff all the cases that come through. And you talk about trauma. My staff, my team experiences secondary trauma.
Exactly.
As does every other person who works in the field and works with other people who've been traumatized. And so I start every meeting every week by ringing a chime. And the goal, that's everybody's cue to take a deep breath.
Oh, that's good.
And when I started doing that, you know, people kind of chuckled, like, oh, you know, there's Sherry trying to. But now I do it, right? Yes. But I can actually hear people go,
oh, it's working.
Yeah. So I think to be mindful and to just, again, be that person for somebody else.
Yes.
That connection.
I jumped on trauma as you were telling me all the highlights of 2017, so I'm going to hand that back to you and tell us more good news.
Okay. Well, we had an anonymous donor who his corporation matched his donation, and then our Friends of the Children's Network board, which is our fundraising arm, matched that donation, and we redid our courtyard. And well, actually, we didn't redo it. There was nothing there. It was just like blank. It was truly a blank canvas. And if you get on our Facebook page, our cover photo is actually our courtyard. Joe Albert did the photograph for us, and it is beautiful. It's a very trauma-informed space. We have.
What does that mean?
It means, thank you for asking, that we really have tried to incorporate a lot of different elements that are very calming, very soothing, just try to help take things down a couple notches. We have a hammock. We have sand. We have AstroTurf, so the kids can roll on it, sit on it, take off their socks and squish their feet in it. We have rocks out there that kids paint, and we have color. We have basically like a river of rocks, and it's not a huge space, but we have a wind chime. I mean, just elements that literally, and you know, we have kids who use it. We have therapists who do therapy out there. We have caregivers who come in, which, you know, I can't even imagine, that are very distraught, and they go out and you can just see them. We have beautiful furniture out there, and they just go and rest.
Just makes you go, ah.
Literally. So nice. That was one of the biggest things that we did last year.
Nice.
Yes. And we're really looking forward to this year because we're in the middle of a strategic plan and very excited about what we're going to do in 2018 and 19.
I know you can't or wouldn't want to share names, but I'm sure you can share stories about children whose lives have been turned around for the better and changed because of addressing the situation.
Yes. I think of a young woman who had run away from her home many times and was not safe and was a victim of human trafficking and lived in another home for an extended period of time and was really able to get the interventions and the help that she needed. And it gave her family time to kind of regroup and breathe and rest, because you can only imagine as a parent when your child is gone for extended periods of time, the anxiety and the worry. And we were able to recently, that young woman was reunified with her family.
Wow.
And is doing something, I mean, she's just doing really, really well. And that is truly such a great example of community and different entities stepping forward and doing things just because they're the right things to do.
And appreciates her home now, maybe.
Yes. I believe so. And, she's a teenager. And, that speaks volumes within itself. And I wish that I could speak in more specifics. I can't. But the people that were, and I was not involved in that situation, but the people that were. And, we are so blessed in our community to have so many people that just go above and beyond the extra mile. We really do have many, many people. I know that it's easy to watch the news and read the paper and just think, oh my goodness, the world, this is a terrible place and this is and absolutely there's terrible things that happen and there's scary things, but there's so many good people.
Stark County is blessed with them.
We absolutely are.
We really are. We're a giving community and a caring community, and surrounding counties.
Absolutely.
Tuscarawas County. I would say anybody within our listening voice, if you're within the sound of our voice, hats off to you because you do make this place a better place to live. So how can we do that? We mentioned that you do pajama collections and give those away to the children. Hygiene items also needed?
Always.
Like what?
Oh, think of the basics. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant. We're always grateful when we have deodorant. Tampons. We have girls that reach out to us every month asking for personal hygiene stuff. So things that many of us take for granted. Those things, Susie, when a family lives in poverty, and you may know this, but a lot of people don't realize this. When you receive SNAP, which we used to call food stamps back in the day, food stamps don't pay for anything other than food.
Really?
So if you need toilet paper or tampons or a toothbrush, you can't buy those things, laundry detergent. Those things cannot be bought with food stamps. So, some of us take for granted. We run to wherever and spend whatever on whatever, and we think nothing of it. But, some families can't do that. So hygiene products.
And it's critical.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Right. We're talking the basics.
Yes.
So those are things that we always are needing donations for. And if I could tell where we're located.
Please.
So we are downtown Canton. And the easiest way to find us is we are between 2nd and 3rd North on Market. A lot of people know Carpe Diem, the great coffee shop downtown. Yes, we are right upstairs.
Oh, grab a cup of coffee and run upstairs.
Yes.
And I love what you said, Sherry, about mindfulness. Just it's a matter of thinking about it. When we're out making our Target run or whatever, as you said, pick up a spare box.
Yes.
Pick up a spare bottle of shampoo, pick up one spare.
Yes.
And then go to Carpe Diem, have a cup of coffee, and run those spares upstairs because there's people in need and we can help them.
And our kids get so excited about things that so many of us take for granted. So they really, really are very appreciated by our kids and families.
Well, we will definitely be there April 27th. Look forward to it. And once again, Sherry McKinney-France, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you. Great to be with you.